All right, guys, how's it going? Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you my process for planning for a worship service so that our sound check goes perfectly every time. But before we get to the video, I did want to tell you, along with this mini series, I've got some free stuff for you. I've put together this whole process in a short ebook that also includes my free reverb cheat sheet and some basics on EQ and compression for beginners. And I've thrown in a 45-minute free training on all the basic technical parts of running sound. So if you and I had 45 minutes to sit down, you know absolutely nothing about sound, these are the things I would teach you from the very beginning. So if you're a worship leader or a tech team leader, you can use this free ebook and the free workshop to help train your team. You can keep it on hand so they can reference it as needed. So if all that sounds good to you, hit the link in the description, jakerussellaudio.com/the simple church soundcheck, and let me know what you think about the guide in the comments below. I hope you enjoy it. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. So now onto the video. All right, so part one, the stage plot. So the very first thing you need to do is find out or determine who is going to be on stage. And then once you have that information, you're going to want to create a stage plot. So a stage plot is literally just a map of the stage that's going to tell you where everyone is going to stand, and I like to include information about what that person is going to need. So whether I'm setting up by myself or with some volunteer help, everyone will be on the same page. It also just saves you some time and frustration and headache because you won't be answering the same questions over and over and over, and in a perfect world, you won't be answering these questions at all because the questions won't need to be asked. And now, this isn't something you'll do every week. What I see this as a document that you can keep on hand and edit as needed. But for the most part, it just gives you a roadmap and a general guideline of how your stage will be set up from week to week, and then you can add on any changes if necessary. So for this video, I want to show you a few resources that you can use to build your stage plot. So let's go to the computer. Alright, so here's two free resources you can use to build your stage plot. Whenever we talk about a stage plot, what we really mean is making a map of our stage with everyone and everything that's going to be on it. So whenever it comes time to set up, or if we're needing to just get some information about what will be on stage, we have a document that we can refer to. And this is really helpful if you have multiple people that are going to be setting up together. If you're in charge and you're giving someone else the task of setting up the stage. So this is a helpful thing to have. So here's two free resources to do that. The first one I use is called draw.io. So we open that and then we'll say create a new diagram. We'll just go with a blank diagram and then we'll say create, save it wherever it's going to go. Okay, replace it. Okay, so what we have here is basically a blank canvas that we can put a lot of stuff on. And what we're going to do is we're going to build what we have on stage. So it actually it's pretty handy here. So you can search shapes, we'll say drums, and then you can drag them into place like this. Let's see if there's a guitar. Do any of these look like a bass? No. We'll call that a bass. It's not. We'll call it that. Bass. We'll put it over here on the right side. Then we'll say, put this guitar here. How about another guitar kind of over here? And then we'll say keyboard. Nope, not that. Oops. Piano. Alright. That's a little bit jank. We'll go with that. That looks like more of a MIDI keyboard. That's pretty ugly, but who cares? It can go right there. Now let's see. Microphone. All of these are terrible. More results. Let's see. We'll go with this one. So let's say there's a keyboard, vocal, and then we'll put 2 downstage. Like this. And then what I've done in the past, I'm not necessarily a designer, but what I will end up doing is then adding on a box over here with the actual info of what's going on the stage. There's definitely better ways to do this, and I will show you one of those in just a second. But then we can build our input list over here. This is just how I've done it because most of the time I'm the only one seeing this document, and I will work out my inputs and routing over here, which we will go over in the next video because that is a whole different beast we're going to tackle. So that's just one way of doing it. But the idea is now, if there is a volunteer that is going to be setting up the stage with me or separately from me, I will have given them the information of where each instrument is going to be, and on the next video we're going to talk about what each instrument will need and how we go through that thought process, because that's where this really becomes valuable, is knowing what channels and outputs and effects are all going to affect each of these different elements on the stage. But that's how I would create the stage plot using draw.io. So then there is a different thing here called techwriter.com. It's not an affiliate or anything. I just thought this is a pretty cool resource, actually. And you know, I don't have the paid version, so you'll be able to tell I'm fairly limited on what I can do, but you'll get the idea of how this can simplify this process even more for you. So you just drag over all of the stuff. We'll just create a similar setup, and you'll see pretty quick it doesn't let me drop as many things in here. I don't remember how many it lets you, but then we'll say wireless. I think this is it. Oh no, okay, maybe one more guitar, we'll see. Go with acoustic down here. Yeah, so you can see you're limited on how many things you can drag in. But the cool part about this one is on draw.io, how I said I create a box over here that I then have to kind of awkwardly create the info that's going to actually make this useful. If I come to TechWriter, what I can do is then have an edit section for each one. And what you can do is drop in drum effects 2, if you have seen the reverb cheat sheet. And then, you know, kick, oops, that is not how you spell kick, snare, hat, hate, oh, nope, not that either. Man, I can't type on camera. So then, I don't know, it might even limit me here. We'll say drums, we'll see. And I always like drums being blue. So we'll let you do that. Now, since we've done that, it will actually give you the list view down here. So that's pretty handy if you're sharing this info with a volunteer. So you can do that with everything else. And what I would end up putting in here is drums are going to have these channels, and they're going to be on this inner mix, you know, whatever it ends up being. So that's how I would set these up, and that's how this becomes a useful document. And again, this isn't something I would tell you to go through this entire process every week. What you could do is come in here and edit this to say, there we go. So what you could do is say, we know that's drums, obviously. You could put the person's name, you know, Nick is our drummer. We could say that Nick is going to be on drums, and he might bring an extra, you know, shaker or an extra something, who knows, that he plays, and you could drop in that info so that your volunteer or whoever's setting up knows the extra pieces that are going to be in play each week. So that's just how this becomes useful. So I hope this has helped you, and this is something you can put into practice, because this is a very practical thing that you can do that will speed up your setups and your planning process. So again, if you like this and want to go more, you know, go deeper with me on this whole process, hit the link in the description, jakerussellaudio.com/The Simple Church Soundcheck. Hit the link for the free ebook that goes with this series and the 45-minute training that can help you and your volunteers really nail down the basics. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one, where we're going to talk about our input list.